catches you'll ever see was just made by Adam Jones.
I think it's really cool, impact that an individual can make. We go into this as athletes, so people trying to live out our dreams of just playing the sport. And when you have success, comes a lot of other avenues that you can, bless other people.
There's a lot of things that I want to do in this city. I enjoy helping out these kids because they're great kids and everybody needs just a window of opportunity. Someone gave me a small window of opportunity and I climbed in. I just try to help out as much as I can. I just really want to get back to playing baseball and playing hard as I can for Baltimore fans, which, now everybody knows I'm not from Baltimore, but this is now my town.
Champs, and I think Adam's going to get a fan. He does.
So you see Adam Jones, he's got a handful of pies right now. He's going to take care of the fans. This is unbelievable.
He delivered. And a fly ball left fielder. That's what's going to happen. Way back there. Way big bye-bye. And how's that for openers? Louder! Louder!
Hello, good people, and welcome inside another edition of the Adam Jones podcast. I'm Jerry Coleman. He's the former five-time All-Star and a retired Oriole. He is Adam Jones. We're presented by the Baltimore Banner, and today in episode number 47, AJ, we'll be joined by former Orioles backstop Matt Wieters. It'll be nice to catch up with Matt. We'll also get into Adam's celebratory week at Camden Yards and in Baltimore, where he was feted and treated like a king, and what may be in store for the future for number 10. We'll deliver another edition of Socially Speaking as well, react to one of your posts on X, as they call it now, Instagram, Facebook, and of course, those Apple Podcast reviews. We actually show you how to do it to qualify for a gift card in that segment.
5-man infield, 2 in the outfield. And the ball game is over. Way back in right field, Matt Wieters. Goodbye! A grand slam! Game-winning home run!
Well, let's get things going with our featured guest, brought to us by our friends at Jimmy's Famous Seafood. He's the former Orioles catcher. He is Matt Wieters. Matt, appreciate you taking time to join us here on the Adam Jones podcast. Unfortunately, you weren't able to make Adam's retirement ceremony last week. So I got to ask the question, where the heck were you, buddy?
Well, as Adam knows, trying to chase around 3 boys and sporting events and now me being back in school with those requirements. So, man, I was bummed I missed it. I look forward to hopefully Jonesy going in the Hall of Fame here soon, and Markakis, and hopefully we have a lot of these get-togethers coming back around soon in Baltimore. I was able to get up for JJ. It worked out to go to his Hall of Fame, and it's so cool to be in Baltimore and in Camden Yards when you can kind of have the memories of what we went through and what we accomplished together was pretty special.
We good to see you, brother. What you been up to, man? You retired from the game a couple years ago, and you got the kids going. You're back at Georgia Tech. What's up? What's new with Matt Wieters?
That's about it. It's busy. Chasing boys around is busy. School is interesting. I'm a lot smarter now than I think I was the first time I went through school. Just maybe because I showed up to class and pay attention. It's a little bit easier when you do those two things. But no, it's fun. It's a new stage of life to where every day you don't quite know where you're going to go. Before, when you're playing every day, I'm waking up. I'm going to do whatever I can to get better, to help the team win, to do all these things. Like, it was the same thing every day. And now it's like you wake up every day, it's like, I don't know where it's going to go, but it's good to kind of keep your mind open and see what's in store for you today.
How much baseball do you watch, big fella? Me, I'm a sucker. That's all I do is watch baseball. Everybody, obviously, the olds are the topic of discussion, but how much are you able to watch baseball, and how much have you seen of the Orioles this year?
Not much. And sad to say that. Like, I've watched my first game live. The Cardinals came in and were playing the Braves, and a couple of my buddies dragged me down there. I'm like, I don't know if I really want to go and watch, guys. Kind of busy, but no, we were able to go, and we got to sit behind the dugout and see right behind the guys I played my last team with. So that was a good time. But I've watched probably less than 3 games since I've been done playing. So not too much. Watching more Little League baseball and college baseball than I am Major League Baseball.
As far as the Orioles, I mean, they're playoff bound with such a young core. How much have you had a chance to observe them?
Yeah, follow them for sure. Like I still keep up with all the storylines, and it's hard with the media right now to even turn that off. But it's been great because one, Maria, my wife, shows me all of people's pictures from social media because I don't have any of that either. But seeing the stadium for Jonesy when he retired, like that was just like this unbelievable to see Orioles Camden Yards, look like that. Is like, man, that took me back to 2012, 2014, it's like that's what it's supposed to look like. So it's really cool, seeing what they got going now, and it kind of feels in a similar way to what we had going. They have a young group of guys who are coming up together and just playing really good baseball. And it's not like you have name after name, but it's like guys playing together as a team, which was really fun to kind of see how they're doing. I may not be watching it exactly to see with my eyes, but to kind of the formula they're following feels eerily similar to what we kind of follow.
Are there some players, anyone in particular, that stand out that maybe have caught your attention? Obviously, the natural would be Adley Rutschman, who was a top draft pick just like you. In fact, I remember when you made your debut in 2009 against the Tigers, stadium was packed. When Adley was brought up, it was Preakness Day. They announced it at the last second. They had a very small crowd. I think they wanted a soft opening for him, but things have turned out nicely.
Yeah, nice. I do follow him. Probably one of the most impressive things when I watched him in a home run derby and just see, I would not have had the guts to flip around and hit from the other side after being called. I'll put it that way. Being a switch here, I'm like, man, that's a gutsy performance to turn around and then hit the balls out like he did. But no, it's like I said, it's fun kind of following guys' career from afar at the same time. Like when you can kind of latch on to guys, you kind of see what they're going through and seeing how they handle it compared to how we handled it coming through.
Explain for people that don't know, as an all-star catcher, gold glove catcher, people are always trying to put you in the back burner. Say, this guy, hell no. I'm taking Wheat. That's my dude. Going with Wheat. But explain to people, how hard is it really to manage switch hitting, to manage a pitching staff? You got to catch heat. You're not small. You're a big dude, being 6'5". Like, how did you manage playing? You played 12 years. How did you manage being that big for these kids that are big? So you can't do this. You defied the position.
Yeah, I tell you what, the human body is an amazing thing. If you keep doing something for long enough, your body will adjust and be able to do it. Being big, like I said, the hitting and managing all the different time and things like that, that's what I enjoyed doing. I love doing it, so it didn't really seem like time. We got to play baseball for a living. So it actually kind of helped, I think, with the hitting side of now I have to focus on getting a scouting report going, kind of trying to get my pitcher locked in. Like that helped with all of it because it didn't give you time to think about this game's really hard. So all the stuff catching it comes with it. It's like, well, it actually keeps you busy and keeps you thinking about how hard this game is. And then with the body thing, I mean, finishing in St. Louis and getting to play behind Yachty and just seeing how he literally has just trained his body to where I'm going to catch today. I'm going to catch today. And he had no other thought to it. And early in my career, that's kind of how it was in Baltimore. And like I said, the knees and the back didn't start getting stiff till I stopped doing it every day. And so it's something to where if we train our body to do something for long enough, then you'll be able to keep doing it.
I want to talk about catching because that's the big topic of catching is the one knee. I remember you being a traditional two guy, being on your both feet. At the last couple of years, I don't know. Again, you didn't play as much because you were behind Yachty. You don't play behind Yachty.
Yeah.
Well, how do you feel about that? Because again, as a good block guy, you're a big target. Does it help you? Does it hurt you? Does it help you throwing? Does it what are the benefits and the downfalls of dropping to one knee for these young catchers who, I mean, that's the standard. You see everybody because I know they're trying to come under and get that low strike. So what's the benefits and what's the downfalls of it?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I tried it because I had a lot of time to play around with stuff when I was in St. Louis. So I tried everything there when I didn't really get to check out the games, but I tried to play with it. But I liked it for receiving. I thought it does. I actually think it helps you block, and I think it helps your receiver well. I couldn't figure out the footwork. Maybe it was from being a little bit of a taller catcher or just not doing it from a young age. But throwing is one thing that I didn't ever feel comfortable with. But it does. It keeps you still and keeps you kind of. So there are benefits there. There's like if I can stay still, I'm giving a good target to the pitcher there. And you're already in a position to block. All you got to do is turn your glove over. So there are a lot of benefits to it, and I see it. But I was one. If I can't throw from it and the guy's on base, I'm not going to do it with a guy on base. I could do it without a guy on base, but I wasn't going to lose one of the good parts of my game by going to knee with a guy on base.
Matt, as we near October, you've been in the postseason several times, including a couple of times with the Orioles in 2012 and 16. What do you recall about those encounters? And also, how important do you feel playoff experience is, especially for the Orioles group that has very few guys with that type of resume?
Well, I think Showalter always said it best. Is you play 162 games for a chance to roll the dice in the postseason, and that's what it is. And when you get a good group of guys who sees that we're going to grind for 162 and just have that mindset of you've got to play the momentum swings, you've got to do that in the playoffs, and if you can come in with that mindset and not get caught up by the bad things that will happen in the playoffs and just wait for kind of or make it happen to where things turn around and you just kind of jump on the opportunity, anything can happen. Experience is great, but experience only tells you that. It tells you it's the playoffs, anything can happen. That's what experience tells you for the playoffs. So as long as you kind of have that mindset of like, we're going to do it until it doesn't happen, you keep that mindset of it can turn at any second. And that's the good thing about baseball is there's no clock to run now. There's pitch clock now, but we'll have that's a different conversation. But there's no clock. You got to get 27 outs.
We'll resume our chat with former Orioles backstop Matt Wieters here on the Adam Jones podcast. But first, let's salute our loyal, dedicated sponsors, many who were at Adam's retirement game, including Eric Brady from Effective Solutions, and also thanks to Hollywood Casino Perryville for their entertainment we had last week.
The Adam Jones podcast is proud to welcome the Baseball Warehouse, our exclusive sponsor for our For the Bird segment.
Hi guys, Oriole Hall of Famer and ambassador to the Baseball Warehouse, Mike Bordick here. We are honored and excited to help support the Adam Jones podcast. The Baseball Warehouse has 4 locations in Maryland and 2 in Pennsylvania. We specialize in private instruction, camps, showcases, charity events, Badgers baseball, and one-of-a-kind events featuring current Major League players and Hall of Famers. Our instructors have all played collegiately and professionally, many of whom have reached the major leagues. Check out thebaseballwarehouse.com to learn more and check us out on social media. Also, make sure to check out Orioles Hall of Famer Rick Dempsey's Baseball Warehouse opening in Columbia this October. Yeah, it's October 8th from 1 to 5 p.m. I'll be there with many of my former teammates, and I want to see you there.
The Adam Jones podcast is brought to you by Jimmy's Famous Seafood, Charm City's favorite crab cake destination. Local sports fan, experience the ultimate pregame party at the tailgate. Cheer on the Ravens with iconic live performances, an open bar, and mouth-watering eats. Can't make it? No worries. Bring the same food that caught the attention of the Food Network right to your doorstep. Shipping East Coast recipes nationwide. Jimmy's Famous Seafood is the official sponsor of the guests appearing on the Adam Jones podcast. And by our friends at the Weinman Company. By Hollywood Casino Perryville. For some, it's a game of chance, but for you, it's a game of choice. Hollywood and Barstool are bringing you more ways to bet in Maryland. Catch all the action in person at Hollywood Casino Perryville at the Barstool Sportsbook, or bet online with the Barstool Sportsbook app. When you download the Barstool Sportsbook app, register, and wager, you can get up to $1,000 bonus cash, plus up to $1,000 when you sign up and wager in person at Hollywood Casino Perryville. Play from anywhere and get up to $2,000. The choice is yours. Must be in the state of Maryland to wager and over 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER. By Jack Daniels, 2 legends, 1 can. Jack and Coke, the #1 cocktail in the world, is now available in a can. Yes, that's true. Jack Daniels Tennessee Whiskey, mixed with Coca-Cola or Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, are now both available in a can. 2 legends, 1 can. Jack and Coke, ready to drink? Please drink responsibly. Whiskey Specialty, 7% alcohol by volume. Jack Daniels Tennessee Whiskey, Lynchburg, Tennessee. By Effective Solutions, your one-stop shop for commercial contracting. Everything from excavation and site development to emergency remediation and restoration. Effective Solutions specializes in many forms of commercial and mixed-use construction, like leak investigation, framing, trim carpentry, insulation, drywall, painting, wallpaper, flooring, masonry, waterproofing, paving, tree removal, and much more. With a dedicated staff and a commitment to quality, Effective Solutions delivers every time. By G-Leaf Medical Cannabis only. Visit gleaf.com. Medical cannabis is for qualified Maryland patients only. The Adam Jones Podcast is brought to you by Royal Farms. Download the Royal Farms app from the Apple App Store or Google Play today. New Royal Farms Rewards members will get a free any-size cup of Royal Farms award-winning coffee just for signing up.
Hey, Justin, keep an eye on the time. It's your night to handle dinner.
No worries. Got it covered. It's great getting dinner ready with no worries. That's why I never waste time and go straight to Royal Farms. Their chicken is fresh, never frozen, hand-breaded, and cooked right in the store.
Oh, wow, this smells amazing. I'm so impressed.
Real fresh, real fast, Royal Farms.
And a reminder, if you guys are enjoying this podcast, make sure to check out the Baltimore Banner at thebaltimorebanner.com/AJ to get started.
Let's get back to it. Our continuing conversation with former Oriole Matt Wieters right here on the Adam Jones Podcast.
We're watching these guys now. They are a core. That's not just a group of misfits. They're actually a core. How long do you think this can last? Because at the end of the day, when you got a bunch of good players, that means somebody's going to have to get paid. Somebody's not going to get paid. How long do you think that this window with the Orioles can last? Because their minor leagues coming up is just as stacked as the major league roster. But again, it's windows. I was part of a trade to make teams better. So what do you see with the future of this team beyond just right now? Because again, they are exceeding expectations right now, not in that clubhouse to the outside media. We always went through that crap. But how long do you think that they can ride this? Because with that youth and that athleticism, only hamstrings slow that down.
Yeah, no, I think if we had to do it all over again, we would have all signed 15-year deals to play with each other for a good bit of money, but we would all sign 15-year deals to be in Baltimore together with all the boys that came up together. Because I was thinking about that driving in before I was going to call. I was like, we had a unique experience where we had guys who came up together, and we had great veterans who were there. And Derek Lee came in, Vlad came in, Ty Wigginton came in, Brian Roberts. Like, we had great veterans, but it was always kind of like the core bought in of the young guys at an early age. As soon as you got over there, Nick had already bought in. JJ came over, he'd bought in. Like they were just a group of guys who had bought into, like, we're going to be good, and this is the group that's going to do it. And it is part of business. Contractual things will happen, and it'll happen to this group eventually too. But that doesn't change your mindset. You've got to be able to buy into where if it doesn't happen and they're able to find ways to keep guys around, then you've got to be able to have the mindset, well, we're going to do it every year that we're here. And until they tell us we ain't going to pay anymore, then you keep thinking this group's going to do it.
Matt, when it comes to pitch counts, they're very important, it seems, more these days than when you played. Was that something, though, you noticed when you were behind the plate, if a pitcher was starting to lose it a little bit and maybe the pitching coach would confer with you? And how do you feel about the way it's evolved where, you know, if you throw 100-plus pitches, your arm could possibly actually be amputated?
Yeah, baseball players we're trained creatures. So I've always felt that if you train somebody who's a top athlete to be able to do it, they can do it. You know, catching Scherzer is like I knew when Scherzer was turning on for his last 15 or 20 pitches, and he was going to last 15 or 20 more pitches, and that was it. But that may be pitch 100, that may be pitch 150 for him. Like he trained himself to where he could empty the tank with 20 more last pitches. So when we he was one of those, when you saw him start to fade, as soon as he started turning on, he had 15 to 20 more, and that was pretty standard for him. And different guys are different. Some guys are 2 times through the lineup, and we're just seeing a generation of guys who you've got to figure out how they are wired, and then kind of treat each individual pitcher individually. And that's the thing is I don't like the part of putting everybody in one cookie cutter. This is what it's going to be, because our history, our backgrounds, our upbringing kind of tells me more than necessarily he's at pitch 75. We got to get him out.
And I want to follow with that is you're the eyes and ears for the pitching coach. I mean, you helped, especially now where they got limits on how many times they can go out there on both sides, the catchers. Like, what signs do you see from the pitchers? Again, Scherzer, that's a damn unicorn, okay? Just like I said, no one's doing things with guys like him are doing 120 pitches per start. Guys just don't do that. Like you seen with George Kirby crying and he was at 90. Hey, he shouldn't have thrown more than 90. I thought he was a dude. So what do you see, like, as a catcher, a guy, especially you go with a young guy, or you go with the guy you caught the most, Tillman.
Yeah.
When he was getting tired, what did you notice from him opposed to when he was right on?
Yeah, command first off. Guys start getting up in the zone, and nowadays that's the hard part. Nowadays, is so many guys pitch up in the zone. So you're like, oh, maybe he starts getting down in the zone. So I don't know what's going to go on for all the high spin guys when they get tired. But the command goes first, but to me, it's more personality and psychology. Tillman is the guy that's always going to tell you he's good. I'm good. I'm good. So as a catcher, there are some guys who you've got to kind of rein back and kind of protect them a little bit, and then there are some guys you got to kick in the butt. And that was what it was more psychology. It's like, you may be looking for an exit, but you got to give it all you got before you can look for an exit. Or maybe, hey, I know he's saying he's good, but command's gone. He's breathing heavy. He's tired right now.
Matt, last one I have for you, living in Atlanta, which is a town that I grew up and was born in. I know it's a football town, but how much do they have? They have to be paying attention to the Braves, right?
No, it's a Braves town, and that's what I grew up a Braves fan, but now I'm not a Braves fan anymore because they never paid my salary, so I don't root for them. But everybody I run into is a Braves fan, and that's what makes it hard about not watching much baseball. Hey, did you watch the Braves game last night? Nope, I did not. I went to bed. You guys were up till 11. I went to bed. I was not watching the Braves game last night, but no, it's tell you what, it's a special team there. When I'll flip on there and just seeing what they're doing, they're doing it the same way with really high end talent, but it's still the same thing. It's a group of core guys who have bought into, like, we're going to do it together. Now they've gotten some guys with some really good talent. They've signed some contracts they probably shouldn't have, and they've gotten some guys where they've paid money to come in here and be a part of that, maybe more so than what Baltimore has done. But it's the same mentality. It's the same thing of, like, we're dudes. We're going to do it together. No other 9 guys that put on the field is going to beat us.
This is my last one for you, big fella. I got to let you go, man. Appreciate your time. The state of baseball. Do you think it's in a good state going forward? I do. Obviously, I work for the commissioner, so I better say I do. But no, I think it is the youth movement. I'm not particular in the rules. I think that's still a little conversation, but the direction of the game, I think, is going a good way. How do you feel about the direction of baseball? And speak on the amateur level as you coach in college. So you got little C, CC Sabathia's son. So you see a lot more than I do, a lot different amateurly, the collegiate, which is different. So how do you see the future of baseball coming, joining them the SEC or ACC?
Yeah, I can probably go so many different ways with this. The crazy part is the amount of talent is in youth baseball, especially in Atlanta, especially in the college level. Like the talent level of these kids coming up is crazy. Like we used to go through the minor leagues and we'd see a guy who was really off the chart talent and be like, man, that guy's as good a player as I've seen. I see countless guys like that coming to college, but it's hard because it's a weird spot we're in right now. I feel like with baseball at the youth level, because there's so much specialization in it. There's so much time put into it. My biggest concern is we're getting a generation of kids that don't know if they really love the game of baseball or just want to play because it's a profession that they want to play for. I know when we grew up, we were playing multiple sports all the time, and we loved baseball, and there's a passion that we had for it. Now it's it's finding out. The kids are having to figure out later on, I feel like, of whether they really want to play baseball or it's just something that was put in front of them that they've done for so long that they have to do it. So that's kind of the hard part for me from the youth side of how do we keep these kids not necessarily training mechanics and swings and things like that at the Little League, high school, college we need to probably get that, but are we training these kids just to love the game of baseball and to want to go and watch it and want to go out and like, hey, I come home. I always say your kids will tell you what they want to do with what they do when they get home. If they come home and want to throw the baseball, they want to hit in the backyard, push that. If they don't, maybe you're pushing them a little bit too hard of they're at the field 5 days a week and they don't want to come do it when they get home. So it's always going to be, I've always said, there's nobody that can be your better coach, better instructor than yourself. You've got to push yourself, and I think your mindset of stay hungry, Jonesy, is something that kind of has hit me even more after being done playing. That's kind of key as you go through your career. If you really can stay hungry and want to go out there and this is what I want to do, I'm going to get whatever I can, not sitting on anything I've done. It's all about what can I do to get better. Then that's how you improve. As far as the major league level, I think baseball is the greatest game ever invented. I find it hard sometimes when we do try and tweak it. I understand everybody's trying to make it as efficient and as fan friendly and all this stuff. I thought it was great for 150 years. I don't necessarily feel like we need to reinvent the wheel too much. Maybe we'll scale it back and sometimes maybe you have to, rip a Band-Aid off to see how much it's actually bleeding. But hopefully we'll find a spot to where it's back to we don't have to necessarily even think about the pitch clock anymore. Think about, all right, that's the second pickoff. Now we can't pick off again, or whatever rules we want to do that weren't a part of the game. I feel like those may have not been the best things to get added, just personally, because I thought it was great before, and so we'll see where that goes. I think baseball is thriving, and everybody wants to play baseball. It's just about how do we put the right guardrails on, and also how do we take the guardrails off at what points. And it's all going to be a battle. And we live in an age where it's going to be scrutinized either way you do it.
Matt, always a pleasure to be able to catch up with you. You were always accessible as a player, just like Adam. Although I think your locker was very close to the entrance of the locker room, which I don't know if that was strategic or not, but
he got the back door.
I'm out.
Yeah, exactly. Adam hid. You were always up front in there, and you are today. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, Weedy.
I appreciate it. Good seeing you guys.
Good seeing you. Now, Adam, refresh my memory. I mean, Matt got to Baltimore right after you arrived. What do you recall? What is your first impression of Matt Wieters, who may be listening in the background?
Well, I mean, the first impression was we knew we were getting a college catcher ready to play in the major leagues right now, ready to control the major leagues right now. And from day one, when he had to share times with Zahn, but when he got there, he was a leader, like immediately. And that's what Adley is. Immediately, you're a leader. That's a position that you do not have to worry about. Now, they're keeping Adley off his feet more. Wieters played more games physically beyond dish. That doesn't matter. But no, he was a teacher, man. He came first day, said, "Hey, I'm the catcher. All right, I'm the center fielder. We got a shortstop." And that's what it allowed us to do. Like, we had guys that played a position and played it premier to where I played center field. Let me roam center field. Marquez was in right. You got other guys. You got Diaza, you had Scott. You had a lot of guys in left. Let me play center. Let them play that. When we did that and we had pieces that played those positions, we played the best baseball in the league. Once we went away from that, it was a little tougher. Because you can't say I'm going from 1 year winning a Gold Glove to next year I'm like they're saying I'm bad center fielder. Nah, Marquez ain't here no more. So I got a different guy. What you talking about? Take you know what I mean? That's the thing with sports and analytics. They don't read that part. But no, Wieters was a teacher, man, and he taught me. He helped me. Like he jumped my ass too. If like that's what leaders do, and I'll jump his ass too. Believe that. But the guy was a leader. The guy was a teacher. He took control of our pitching staff, and he made me look real good because he had unbelievable hands and made some of the best tags at home plate. So I'm forever grateful.
Look forward to seeing him back at Camden Yards soon. All right. Time now to move along to our For the Bird segment, Adam. And I believe you're back after almost a week here in Baltimore in good old Barcelona.
Oh, man, I had to get back out here to beautiful Barcelona. But no, my time in Baltimore was amazing. I'll be back for the playoffs as they clinched last Sunday. So you know what? Hey, it's an exciting time right now. The Ravens are 2-0. What a great win to go into Cincinnati. You obviously know it's a tough place there. It's just a good week right now overall in Birdland. Both the birds are flying high. And just to be a little part of it, just to have myself a blip note into any of this is just humbling. And it was just a great time. Got to see you, hang out with you, see other people. Obviously, it was just a overwhelming weekend of love, of support. I was extremely humbled by everybody, by the fan base. I thank the Angeloses for allowing me to do something like this. You know, really, it's up to ownership to greenlight things like this when they can easily say no. It just means that they know that I meant a lot to this organization, a lot to this city. And to be celebrated for one night, it was fantastic. My boys got to see it. They fighting the whole way, running down the dang.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, jeez, man, just like they cannot. But then when I told them that 43,000 people was watching you, they're like, "Oh, what?" And I said, 43,000 people seeing you guys be little butts. So.
Yep, third largest crowd of the season to date. As we said, you returned to sign your retirement papers. Even got the podcast a shout out. Thanks to Valerie Priactor for asking that question. We have that for you here.
You talked about your presence on social media and keeping up with that. And now you have your podcast, which is part of the Baltimore Media Group. And how's it been for you on the other side of the microphone now to kind of have the control?
Well, yeah, there he is. Me and my co-host Jerry Coleman on the Adam Jones podcast. It's talking Baltimore sports. We want to get Mr. Elias, but we respect his time and we respect his words. He's a very, very busy man. But no, it's basically delving into to Baltimore sports. Again, if I speak to San Diego, no one's listening. If I speak to Texas, no one's listening. Speaking to Baltimore, the fans here really appreciate my insight and stories. And the Orioles have been fantastic with supplying us with guests. They've been just amazing at that. And it's different. It's obviously a different side. I got to do a little more research. I make sure that I dig up some information on the guests for the week. And it's a different side of it.
So Mike Elias was a little cagey there. I don't know if he wants to be on the podcast or we haven't invited him or what, but we certainly want him. So your invitation is extended, Mr. GM.
I would love to have him. It's just, certain people I like to leave alone. You know what I mean? Yeah. I know certain people that like to talk, but then sometimes I'm like people want cakes, but I know cakes. I respect his privacy. I respect how he wants to just be left the hell alone. I respect that about people. Call me. I'll hop on somebody's podcast and say what's up to him and give some stories. But I respect some people's privacy factors by knowing them. But hey, Mr. Elias, you on the call. You on the clock now, baby. We got you. You on the clock. We will be contacting you, and hopefully you can get on the podcast and do some great things. As you've seen, we've done nothing but support the Orioles and try and put them in the best light as possible. We don't try and hide anything. We don't try and low blow. Like, don't try to have secret agendas. We just want these guys to get their flowers and just be, get seen, be talked. Because without social media nowadays, like, you don't really get to know these guys besides these kind of interactions. So it's cool that we get to allow these guys to let their hair down. So that's always the funnest thing, I think, with the podcast. So, Mr. Elias, we're gonna get you on, and we're gonna undress you a little bit. We're gonna have some fun with you.
We'll spend more time on this in just a moment, but you mentioned Markakis, and of course I had to go up and ask him. And the stare and look and response I got told me that he will never appear on this podcast. That is pretty much confirmed. He looked at me like, "Are you crazy?" I go,
"It's a podcast."
I said, "You spoke to that hack Dan Conley a few weeks ago or months ago." He said, "Yeah, I couldn't wait to get off the phone." So that was the end of that. Anyway, the only faux pas I thought for you in the pregame press conference was you ensuring that Berger cookies will never be a sponsor of the Adam Jones podcast after you absolutely destroyed them.
Very true. Hey, look it. Hey, I've said things before. and I just had to try them out. So maybe I'm just throwing them bait so that they make me some really good burger cookies, and I like them. You know what I'm saying?
We're honor buying people.
But at the end of the day, I got there and I'm like, who puts all of this chocolate on one cookie? Like, that's like enough Duncan Hines for like 7 cookies. You put it on one. I like sugar. I like sweets. I'm not trying to get a diabetic coma off like half of a cookie. Like, I would scrape off 75% of that thing and eat it normally. But no, I appreciate the Baltimore traditions. Like, I'm from San Diego, man. We're Mexican food. Okay, come get some fish tacos.
Yep.
But in Baltimore, you guys got some really cool traditions, and I don't have to go by and abide by all of them. I don't have to like all of them, but I respect all of them. And there lies the difference. You don't got to like everything. There's a lot of things I don't like. Again, we talked about it. I don't like that nasty-ass Natty Bohs. Never had one. But I respect it. Obviously, they've been in business for a long time. A lot of college kids keeping them in business.
Of course. All right. You mentioned it. I want to know how you think things went in general. Of course, my favorite part was watching Axel and August beat up on each other as you trotted in from center field. I heard the tongue lashing they got from your wife. That was great as well. You took a break and acted like you were out of breath as they were trying to fight each other to see who could get the lead. No, you weren't.
They told me as I'm walking out there, walking towards center field, like the whole back way, like opening day. There's like, it's gonna be like opening day. I'm like, I gotta really run out there. They said, yeah. I'm like, with whose legs? Who's stretched? Ain't nobody stretched. And I was like, hey, woo, let me embrace this. But no, it was awesome, man. It was incredible. Berlin is always put on for me. Berlin is always put on for me. Always is answer the call. But they respected the way I played the game.
I play softball, so he's a big inspiration to me.
That made it easier for them to like me. No matter what I say, I showed up every day in the home of Cal Ripken Jr. If you ain't showing up every day, I got a hangnail. I can't play today. I learned early certain things just not fly in Baltimore. Day off. Me and Richie Banfield, he was like, dude, the biggest thing I respect is you never came in my office. He had me for 10 years. Not one time I ever come to his office and said, I need Richie. Richie, you got to pull me out. I got to somehow. It was always the other way. Somebody trying to sit me down, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm good to go. There's always that. You got to play the game, man. And Berlin respected that. And I want to show my boys that, look, man, you put in some hard work. You put your head down in the sand. You grind it out. Good things happen. And for 11 years, I was able to wear the black and orange. I was able to represent a city that is a hardworking city, a city that needs a lot of love, doesn't get the national respect of other cities, and people know that. But Baltimore's special and always will be special to me. And you've seen just the interactions. We've been together the last few times I've been to Camden, and when I'm there, it's a little different. You know what I mean? I've been around. I've been there so many times. You have other players and former players that have come around, and you hear the fans talking and all that kind of stuff. It was a little different when myself was there. When you got Markakis there, you got CD there, you got Tommy Hunter there, O'Day there. Like, we had such a good core there. Obviously, tons of other people that are still playing. But it's a special place. And reality of business is, someone asked a question at the press conference, you didn't exit as ceremoniously as you thought and whatever. I said, man, that's business. That's just how things go. But, we're grown men. We can shake hands. There's a lot of people, again, that we've worked with, our colleagues. You can't get along with everybody. That's just impossible. But you can be respectful to everybody. And, as you get older, you just be like, hey, maybe I didn't handle it the right way at 27. Maybe I didn't handle it the right way at 29 or 40, whatever. But going forward, you can definitely handle it the right way and talk about it. That's grown men. When you're a grown man, you don't just hold on to these grudges, these high school grudges. Oh man, you trying to slip my boyfriend a note. No, we're grown men, and I'm just glad that the Angeloses and Elias have opened that dialogue to just be, professionals, and just forever grateful for the Angeloses for putting this on and allowing me to be celebrated with my family, my friends that was there, my two aunties. They're like the closest to my mom. Like their energy when those two were together. Again, I had a sip of my aunt's drink, and I said, "Damn." She was like, "Yeah, this one's for your mama." I was like, Did you stop at Exxon before you came down here? Like, woo! But no, it was to have that energy of just both sides of the family, all the spectrum of my baseball life coming together for one night. And I'm sure there'll be more of those. Was just special.
Well, there may be more, and hopefully there will be in the future, because if you followed this podcast, and by the way, we're showing a lot of the highlights. If you're watching on YouTube, you should, and make sure to subscribe. But it's no secret that you're working for MLB as an ambassador in their CAP program. You did turn to Mike Elias and say if there were a job opening, around Camden Yards and with the Orioles, you wouldn't be turning that down either. And that's not been a secret if you follow this podcast.
No. And, the CAP program is amazing because it allows me to obviously be flexible with my schedule since I have young boys, but it also allows me to pick and choose my avenues of work. I can go to the Hank Aaron. I can go to just different events and handle different organizations, and they give me the leeway to build. Like I can go holler at a couple of young minor league guys who, maybe going through some stuff. Like I can go through the CAP program. I'm allowed to go down to the minor leagues and hey, we got you. Hey, you're struggling. You're welcome to pro ball. Welcome to having a real job and not being on mommy and daddy's payroll. You know what I mean? Welcome to the real world. And like, that's what we are at CAP. We're trying to bridge this gap and show these young kids and major leaguers that, there's stuff after life, but while you're playing, there's so many avenues that we can tackle. If you got a problem, come to us. This year, you're in the media, in the writing spectrum of it, and you haven't seen many articles about pitch clock, about the times of the times. It was at the very, very beginning of the season, and then after that, it all went blank because why? The players stopped telling Jeff Pass and Ken Rosenthal. Stop telling Joel Sherman that you're tired of doing this. You only get one. No, come to me. Call Howard. Call CeCe. Call Jimmy Rollins, call Dexter. Like there's so many. Call these guys. We'll get you on the phone with the person that you need to talk to, and let's get the issue resolved. We don't need these guys get per clicks. We don't need that no more. And we're the bridge to that, and that is one of the best jobs because it just allows us to be ourselves. We're like, and the commissioner wants us to do that. He's like, I want you to be yourself, be authentic, be genuine, and help this game grow. And the group that we got is so amazing. And for the Orioles, with the CAP, it does allow me to work with a franchise. Rollins, Howard, CeCe, and other guys, they do work with other franchises in TV also. So it opens up different avenues. But like I said before, obviously coaching is tough just because I got young boys. But to be involved in a professional organization and to be able to help out, again, like the CAP program, I just want to be a big brother to these guys. I'm not coming in with an ego saying, hey, man, Mullins, you playing too deep. Mullins, you playing too shallow. Mullins, you got to work on your money. Like, hits you do. Like, I'm not coming out there stepping on any major league guy's toes. I'm simply there, would be there. You need me? What you got? Somebody needs me here? What you got? A guy in the minors is struggling. How can I help him? Can I take him out to dinner? You know what I mean? And show just like relax his mind a little bit. Like, what can I do to help the organization? Not, what can I do to help myself? I don't need nothing. I had a great career. I was blessed to make a good amount of money. I just want to get back to the game that has given, incredibly amount to me. See, I'm living in Spain. Hey, just because I like Spanish food, it's because baseball has afforded me the riches of culture, of diversity. And that's what baseball is. And I just want to help grow that as much as I can. And if I'm wearing the Orioles doing it, that'd be fantastic. If I'm doing it with somebody else, that's part of the business. But just again, what the black and orange represents, and when it got my name on it, it's just a perfect match.
Well, you did bust me a little bit for going there as a freebie. I was working as a media member. I was taking down notes diligently. I filmed a lot of stuff as well. In fact, I had a few observations I wanted to follow up with you on here on the podcast. No speech. Was that your call?
Well, I did an incredibly long press conference.
Okay. Well, yeah,
so
you know what?
I think that was the
all right
trade-off. Very long press conference. I was gassed. So
it was 45 minutes, the press conference.
We had a water cooler. Yeah, it was a very long press conference. And I think I said everything there. I put out a social media post. Again, I could have said something there, but what more do I need to say, man? I tip my cap. There's nothing I can say that's like more than just saying how much humbled I am without crying. Like I'm truly, I would have been just like, tip my hat again. Like there's nothing I could have said because they said it for me.
All right. As far as the former players that came in, and we just talked with one that wasn't able to make it, but the guys that were there, I already told you Markakis wanted nothing to do with me in terms of the podcast. Tommy Hunter asked when he's going to come on the podcast. And I said to him, and this was the dumbest comment of the night, what are you doing here, Tommy? I thought you still pitch for the Mets.
Oh, yeah. He retired like literally mid-season. Yeah, he did the Griffey. It was because I was looking for him in June because I was in June or something of July. I was in New York. And I'm like, well, let me look up Tommy. Where's his roster? And I looked, ain't nowhere. I said, Audie hit his wife. And he was like, yeah, he just came home. They said, you can go on a DL or I'm sorry. Or just go home. He's like, man, let these young dudes pitch. I'm going home. Got 3 young boys, one on the way. It's a blessing. And hey, Tommy Hunter, I remember when he came up. All they kept talking about the Rangers. This big kid, sinker baller, cutter. He gonna be around for a while. He turned that into a 14-year major league career. I mean, if you can't parlay that into that's special right there. That's special. And it was really awesome to see the guys. Again, people have incredibly busy schedules. We're in our mid to late 30s, so you have kids, you got activities. Like we had crazy activities with his kids. There's a lot of guys that had different things going on. So I 100% respect that. So that's why I'm even more grateful for the guys that did come because, they spent their own time and money to come celebrate me. Again, I would do the same thing for them, every last one of them. So they were brothers, man. It was just cool to be seen. And seeing Brian Bass, I haven't seen him in a while. Mark Orwell, he came in there. He was like, "You don't remember me?" I was like, "Mark, I remember you. You got this funky windup." He's like, "How do you remember?" I was like, "Bro, I remember everything. I sat behind you. I probably was cussing you out because I chased some balls that hit off a wall. That's probably why I know you so well." But it was just great to see everybody. See Gibbons come back. I know he's been battling some injuries this year. Hopefully he gets back on his feet. So it was fantastic. The current players, obviously, they needed to get their running and their stretching in, but they all came out to pay some respects, and I'm forever grateful, man. Just forever grateful, and it's just awesome what Hyder's doing, man. Dudes is good, man, and it's fun. But while we were there the weekend, they didn't play that well. It was a 4-game skid that they went through.
No, you're 0 for 2 in your last 2 appearances at games.
Yeah,
I wasn't going to mention that.
See, so therefore, I need to stay my ass away and go and be at the barbecue spot.
Real quickly, though, one last observation, and that would be the first pitch. Just a bit outside, as Bob Uecker used to say. Was that because you were tired from running in from center field?
I've not thrown a baseball in a while, and it's reflective of it. I didn't want to look like 50 Cent and throw it way over there. I didn't want to look like John Wall and throw it right in front of me. I threw a first pitch at the WBC. That was the last time I threw a baseball. That was 6 months ago. So, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I got it there, got it in the air. I just didn't want to embarrass myself. I'm not going to be like Ichiro, put on a full uniform, get on the mound, and crow hop. I'm not going to do that. But it was just a nice, easy toss to my longest throwing partner of all time, 21-10, me and Markakis. When I told him, he was like, "You really want me to do it?" I'm like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "If you want me to, I will." I was like, "All right, cool."
Third largest crowd that Camden Yards has seen this year, and well deserved.
In center field, number 10, Adam Jones. That ball's crushed to deep left center field. That ball is back, and that ball is gone.
We're going into the 9th inning of this podcast. It's time for some Socially Speaking, where we answer a social media post or a podcast review. And we'll show you how to do that just in case, you're under 12, if you don't know how to rate the podcast. In fact, we put together a video that even a toddler can understand.
On your phone, go to podcast. Then type in Adam Jones. Now you're at the Adam Jones podcast. Then just follow us. It's free. And rate us. 5 stars would be great. Now that was easy, right?
All right, this week's correspondence comes from Joe on X, formerly Twitter, at Ort921. He asks, Adam, do you have a favorite win in your career with the Orioles?
I do, and I actually wrote it down so that I can get all the just the details. And I probably still got them wrong in a little bit, but fact checking on the internet, you could do it. I didn't do it. I just going off memory. My favorite win, obviously, everyone was fantastic, but 2012 wild card, first wild card game that was being played in baseball that year in the expanded format. Joe Saunders going against the Texas Rangers, where he's faced him many times while being an Angel. Okay, his foe. 1-7 with I think it was either 70 ERA, something high to where even our fans was like, "Buck, what's in the coffee?" He went out there through 5+ innings for us. We ended up winning that game, the wild card game. No one ever mentioned anything about that ever. Joe Saunders is a legend in my book for that game right there. And that was one of the biggest team wins because you're going against the Rangers, who they went to the World Series back-to-back years the previous years. They were the juggernaut in the American League for those 2-3 years, and we took them down. Yu Darvish, welcome over here. He's fantastic. He's having a fantastic year. We were able to get him for some runs. I think we ended up winning 5-2, something like that. Was it Seth Smith that caught the last out, I believe, in left field? But no, that right there, that win, that solidified that, hey, when the lights is on us, we can play. We played some big games in September getting up there, but we didn't have the light on us game. The lights was on us in that game in 2012, and we showed up. So that right there, that's my greatest win as an Oriole.
The memory still stands. All right.
Yeah.
We want to thank and salute our loyal sponsors. Most, if you follow this podcast now through 47 episodes, have been with us virtually since day one. And there's still room for you out there as well if you own a business.
Hi, guys. Oriole Hall of Famer and ambassador to the Baseball Warehouse, Mike Bordick here. We are honored and excited to help support the Adam Jones podcast. The Baseball Warehouse has 4 locations in Maryland and 2 in Pennsylvania. We specialize in private instruction, camps, showcases, charity events, Badgers baseball, and one-of-a-kind events featuring current Major League players and Hall of Famers. Our instructors have all played collegiately and professionally, many of whom have reached the major leagues. Check out thebaseballwarehouse.com to learn more and check us out on social media. Also, make sure to check out Orioles Hall of Famer Rick Dempsey's Baseball Warehouse opening in Columbia this October. Yeah, it's October 8th from 1 to 5 p.m. I'll be there with many of my former teammates, and I want to see you there.
The Adam Jones Podcast is brought to you by Jimmy's Famous Seafood, Charm City's favorite crab cake destination. Local sports fan, experience the ultimate pregame party at the tailgate. Cheer on the Ravens with iconic live performances, an open bar, and mouth-watering eats. Can't make it? No worries. Bring the same food that caught the attention of the Food Network right to your doorstep. Shipping East Coast recipes nationwide. Jimmy's Famous Seafood is the official sponsor of the guests appearing on the Adam Jones Podcast. And by our friends at the Weinman Company. By Hollywood Casino Perryville. For some, it's a game of chance, but for you, it's a game of choice. Hollywood and Barstool are bringing you more ways to bet in Maryland. Catch all the action in person at Hollywood Casino Perryville at the Barstool Sportsbook, or bet online with the Barstool Sportsbook app. When you download the Barstool Sportsbook app, register, and wager, you can get up to $1,000 bonus cash, plus up to $1,000 when you sign up and wager in person at Hollywood Casino Perryville. Play from anywhere and get up to $2,000. The choice is yours. Must be in the state of Maryland to wager and over 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER. By Jack Daniel's, 2 legends, 1 can. Jack and Coke, the #1 cocktail in the world, is now available in a can. Yes, that's true. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey, mixed with Coca-Cola or Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, are now both available in a can. 2 legends, 1 can. Jack and Coke, ready to drink? Please drink responsibly. Whiskey Specialty, 7% alcohol by volume. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey, Lynchburg, Tennessee. By Effective Solutions, your one-stop shop for commercial contracting. Everything from excavation and site development to emergency remediation and restoration. Effective Solutions specializes in many forms of commercial and mixed-use construction, like leak investigation, framing, trim carpentry, insulation, drywall, painting, wallpaper, flooring, masonry, waterproofing, paving, tree removal, and much more. With a dedicated staff and a commitment to quality, Effective Solutions delivers every time. by G-Leaf Medical Cannabis only. Visit gleaf.com. Medical cannabis is for qualified Maryland patients only. The Adam Jones Podcast is brought to you by Royal Farms. Download the Royal Farms app from the Apple App Store or Google Play today. New Royal Farms Rewards members will get a free any-size cup of Royal Farms award-winning coffee just for signing up.
Hey, Justin, keep an eye on the time. It's your night to handle dinner.
No worries. Got it covered. It's great getting dinner ready with no worries. That's why I never waste time and go straight to Royal Farms. Their chicken is fresh, never frozen, hand-breaded, and cooked right in the store.
Oh, wow, this smells amazing. I'm so impressed.
Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
And a reminder, if you guys are enjoying this podcast, make sure to check out the Baltimore Banner at thebaltimorebanner.com/AJ to get started.
So thanks to senior executive producer Chip Franklin. Chip will tell you he's a scratch golfer, which means after he shoots around, he goes in and scratches out his scorecard. We want to remind you, we'll be back next week. Until then, be kind, be real, and be back next time for another edition of the Adam Jones Podcast.